Hi everyone, my name is Victoria and I am re-recording my introduction video just so everyone can get to know me better. And yeah, let's get into it. So if you're new here, I got my PhD and my master's at UCLA, and then I moved to DC in 2021 or 2022 to work in policy. So that was really cool. My degrees are actually in social work. So I am a social worker by trade, but I am like my work focuses more on the intersection between social work and technology. So that's kind of what like the nature of the work I do. I'm Black and Filipino, which both are a huge part of my identity. And yeah, I'm a Christian, which is also really important and something that you'll see in my videos. But yeah, so probably why you're here is because I post a lot of videos about my disability. And so disabilities plural, I got sick in around summer of 2022, maybe like a month and a half after I defended my dissertation. And I had all these lofty dreams about finally having my dream job in DC and having this amazing boyfriend who also lived in Virginia at the time, very close to me, and everything was like not great, but I felt like I was finally achieving so many goals of mine, right? A PhD is no nonsense. Like, it takes years to even prep for a PhD, let alone get through one. And but I was my body was beat down at the time from stress, trauma. I was in an abusive relationship in grad school, not with the boyfriend at the time, but the one prior. And that was like a very tumultuous, horrible situation, which led me to help co-found this group of survivors at the UCs. But that was a lot of stress on my body. Then, of course, the pandemic and doing a PhD program, it was just a lot. My grandma was dying. Things were not great. And before I even got sick, I was ill. At the time, I did not know I already had dysautonomia. I was diagnosed with vasovagal syncope when I was like a teenager. It was never explained to me what that was. They just told me it was anxiety, unsurprisingly. So I just went through life thinking I just had these crazy, not crazy, but like severe panic attacks and air hunger and all the things. I'd be couch bound for months. I had to stop working a few times. I worked retail during college, and even in grad school, like I was very sick at some points. And I just didn't know what was going on. I thought it was stress. And so, I didn't have really any formal diagnoses other than allergies at the time of 2022. But come 2022, my body was like breaking down. I thought I was having severe panic attacks. I remember being at the Roots picnic with my friends and just being like in this room, in the corner of the bathroom, dark, on the SI hotline, like talking about like how I didn't know what was going on with me. Had I just known it was dysautonomia and like POTS, I would have felt a lot better, and like been able to actually help myself. I had no idea. I thought I was just like depressed and anxious and stuff. But when I got home from that trip, which was in the summer, I came down with a cold, flu. I don't know what it was. And I had gone, well, actually, let me back up a little. I was thinking I was having this panic attack and stuff, and like was just like severely depressed, which I at the time didn't feel depressed, but I was like, it must be that, because that's what everyone has told me for the past however many years. And because, you know, I would pass out and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, it must be like panic attack, you know, and you pass out. No. But I met with a psychiatrist when I got back to DC. And I said, hey, I like would like to try antidepressants. I've never tried them before. And like, I must need them now. Tried Lexapro. Had a horrible anaphylaxis reaction to that. Little did I know I had MCAS the whole time, whatever. And I had to go to the hospital, and I went to urgent care. They sent me to the hospital. And at the hospital, they did a Nasaline test. Still, no one told me it was POTS, but they did a Nasaline test, which looking back, I'm like, oh, that's what that was. They made me walk around the hospital, which, again, not the best way to test for POTS. But they're like, oh, it's fine. Like, we don't know what's going on. But stop taking Lexapro. Must have been like an allergic reaction. Because I was so sick, I could barely open my eyes. I could barely breathe. I was having tachycardia. Like, it was all the things. I get home from I'm with my ex at the time. I'm staying at his house. We're home from the hospital. Like, the next couple days, I get super sick. I don't know what kind of virus. I wasn't wearing a great mask at the time, and I never went back to my lackadaisical masking ever again and trusting the government on that. But and yeah, I'm pretty sure I got sick that way. It was an N95, but it wasn't well fitted, the mask I was wearing. And I don't know what I got because they tested me for all of the things. I don't know what I had. And yeah, so I got sick. I was so sick. I was so ill for weeks. Like coughing, asthma, had to get an inhaler. Like, it was really, really bad. Right after I was like starting to get better, I got I got COVID. And worse, and like my body's already going through it, right? Already had this anaphylactic reaction to Lexapro. Already got sick from the ER, and now I'm like sick with tragic, absolutely tragic. So everything went downhill from there. I became wheelchair bound pretty quickly. Then I became bed bound. There's a lot to describe there, but like within a few months, really. And things that made it worse specifically was like, I found out I had POTS, cause my ex was like, I think you have this, after Googling. And then, not being able to have a doctor, because during that time of the pandemic, like the wait lists for doctors were like months, if not years long. So it was just a horrible situation. They even tried to keep me in the ER for a while. But they would never hospitalize me. And like, it was just like, it was a hot mess. And I wasn't able to eat. Like, I was throwing up food. Mind you, I have emetophobia, so that was like horrid. Throwing up food, severe occipital neuralgia, like just horrible, oh my God, horrible, like level 10 pain, constantly unending. I was passing out from tachycardia. I was feeling fatigued every time I would do anything. I was having anaphylactic symptoms all at once, all of this for weeks on end, and to the point where I like, at one point, okay, no, I'm not there yet. So that was all happening. So I was in a wheelchair because at one point I just couldn't stand anymore, and I was still crawling until I found out I had EDS, and like my wrist would start collapsing when I was crawling. So that was bad news. I ended up getting finally a cardiologist after several fucking like just so much gaslighting from doctors. I saw so many doctors at this point, probably like 15 already, or not even 15, probably 10 already at this point, just being gaslit. And I finally got to an electrophysiologist who was like, yeah, we can do a tilt table test. Did the tilt table test, passed out within like 60 seconds. Dude was like, I've never seen a test go that fast. And they brought in crash car, all the things. And after the tilt table test, well, okay, let me back up a little. Again, sorry, the timeline's like crazy, but a few weeks before that, I met with this electrophysiologist, and like, so our for initial meeting, he was like, oh, you might want to like exercise, like that's a good idea. I was like, okay, bet. Like I was, I'll show the picture here. I was like a weightlifter. I was a runner. I ran 1 to 2 miles a day. Like I had no problem being fit. I was fit. That was like the most fit I've been in my life. So I was just like, whatever, like I'll exercise then. They're like, you need to get off this wheelchair, ableism. And so I started trying to use a floor cycle thing. Because I tried running, that didn't work. I tried walking, that didn't work. I tried yoga, that wouldn't work because I get hit with fatigue. So I tried the like laying down cycle. So much fatigue that would last for days, weeks. I had no idea what was going on. And fatigue, like you can't lift your head. Like this is not some cute, oh, I'm tired. No, like I couldn't lift my limbs. People had to carry me in and out of bed. And so that was the weeks leading up to the tilt table test. Did the tilt table test. That night, I started throwing up because little did I know I had fucking gastroparesis. And that sent me into a flare that I didn't recover from for like a year. But it got a little bit better after like a few months, but I could barely eat. I was not eating. I was not able to keep down water. I had to go to the hospital, get hospitalized, and they still didn't really help me. At this point, I was like deathly ill. I was like severely dehydrated. I was malnourished. In my hospital notes, it says malnourished. Some doctor misdiagnosed me with bulimia. Because why not throw that in there? I'm bulimic. Why? How am I bulimic and I have emetophobia? No, I want to eat, but I just couldn't. I would throw up everything because, surprise, gastroparesis. And all of this flared with and I was deathly ill. My parents could barely afford coming out to come take care of me. My ex was like hanging on by a thread. And because he was working full time, it was just like a hot mess. And I was away from all my family across the country. And we were like, a bunch went on. I can go more into later. It's a little bit traumatic for me to recount. But at the end of the day, I ended up paying $48,000, having to sell my car, and paying for an air ambulance to get airlifted because I couldn't even sit up without passing out. Getting airlifted back to Nevada where my family was. All of my stuff is in storage still to this day because I haven't been able to get back to work and afford to get it back. I came here with one luggage. All these things like my parents have bought me over the years. But I came here with one luggage, my electric wheelchair, and I sold my car. I left everything. I left everything that I worked for. And I was like, I don't know what else to do. And it was just so hard. There was so much that happened in that time that I'm not even like recounting here, just TLDR, but I lost my job. Oh, and while all of this is happening, I also lost my ability to talk. My vocal cord said, I've been in speech therapy now lately. But if you see my older videos, you could say I'm not talking. It's because I could not talk. And like I would try and nothing would come out. And it would just die. My voice just dead. Like you have laryngitis. I lost my ability to talk. I lost my ability to run, walk, sit up, eat most foods. I lost my ability to hold up my head at one point for months. At one point, I lost my job, my car, my apartment, my dream. I lost all of it. And I tried to take my multiple times because I was so distraught and so in pain and no one was listening to me. They're just like, oh, we don't really know what and like how it impacts you, but sorry, can't help. Everyone, we drove hours away to Johns Hopkins. We drove to Maryland, we drove to Virginia, all parts of Virginia, like everywhere in DC. We tried to get help. People wouldn't help me. It was the hardest thing I've ever faced in my, it still is, but it was, I'm trying not to cry because it was just, I lost everything. And I was so angry with God. I was so angry with God because I was like, how can this be possible? How could you want this for your children? And I was so alone. I felt so alone. And I felt like, you know, my friends, a lot of friends abandoned me. And I just didn't want to be here anymore. And I lost everything. And after I got here, and again, I'm skipping so much, guys. But once I moved back, it was, I want to say, summer 2023. I was living in Vegas, and I got more times, regressed more times. Doctors still were, I had one doctor tell me in Vegas, no one will help you in this state. Imagine hearing that after being airlifted, spending all of the money you ever had, losing everything, and for them to say that. And this is why I stand on 10 toes. I stand 10 toes down on Jesus, because the only thing that got me through that time is my anger and resentment towards Jesus, and him telling me to go seek out the character of God and go seek out what the Bible actually says about God's character, and that he didn't want me. He said that trials would come, but he doesn't take pleasure in me suffering. And asking those hard questions and reading the Bible every day is the only thing that got me through. The only thing that got me through. And of course, in addition, my mom and my brothers taking care of me, showing up for me. We all made mistakes along the way, but they were my rock and my mentor, who has continued to be one of the only reasons I'm alive. Driving 9 hours out of state to come see me and bring me plants and remind me life is worth living. That's the only reason that I'm here today. And says I was constantly being gaslit by doctors. At this point, I had been diagnosed with POTS, ME/CFS, which thank God I learned I had ME/CFS and could stop exercising and making it worse. Ehlers-Danlos, I met a geneticist, paid out of pocket to see them, and I was diagnosed with HEDS. Thyroid, I had hypothyroidism, found that out from an endocrinologist from after like my 5th time trying. I still wasn't on any meds other than thyroid medicine until I met doctors at Fort Peaks who helped save my life by actually treating me in a good PCP in Vegas. Even though there was no specialist that would help me, she was there and supporting me. And my things didn't significantly change for me until I was bedbound. I have not walked since February 2023, maybe, if that. And I was standing up for a short time, but it wasn't until I met my doctor. I met my doctors at Fort Peaks, who started me on MCAS medicine and said I had MCAS. That helped me tremendously. Probably the biggest thing that's helped me. And then I met a doctor, a neurologist at Cleveland Clinic in Vegas, tiny clinic. I used to intern there, and I asked my PI in undergrad, like, hey, can you just help me get into this clinic? Like, no one is listening to me. I'm dying, literally. Can you help me? And he did. And I got to see her, and she did a full like neurological workup. Was like, you might have these rare diseases that I have no idea about. You need to go see somebody. But she did an MRI, full MRI, head, spine. We did an EMG. She did all the things. She's like, I'm gonna set you up so we can get you to California. And we got me to California. I mean, again, skipping a lot of stuff here, but thanks to my friend Cortland, driving an RV, and me having a little bit of consistency where I'm not in the ER constantly, having that time to just, and my mentor for helping me pay for everything, we took that results and orders from my Cleveland Clinic doctor, and we went to Cedars. We drove to California. I posted up at an Airbnb. We went to Cedars. They told me they can't help me. Because my doctor was like, my neurologist was like, you need to go get a small fiber neuropathy biopsy and then like all of the other things as well. And he was like, no, you don't need any of that. I sobbed. I did all of that work for months, all of those tests, including just ableist stuff you would not even imagine. Testing centers not even wanting to test me because I'm bed bound, stuff like that. And because I'm not ambulatory. And I went through months and months of tests and trying my best in PM for that doctor to be like, no. Huh? You won't even run the test? No, you don't need it. Huh? I sobbed. And then I was like, you know what? But I'm not one to give up. I am not one to give up. Like, I was like, nah, hell no. And I found another doctor I reached out to before and had a referral for. Thank God. And at UCLA, we met with him the next week and he set me up with a biopsy, and then the ball started rolling. I started getting diagnosed with other things like anemia thalassemia minor, small fiber neuropathy, just so many other things. And I'm still, to this day, still building my team of doctors, because that was a year ago. But I've improved so much. I don't have to deal with the hostility of people mocking me for masking in the emergency room. I don't have to deal with doctors telling me nobody in the state will help me. They actually see me as human out here. People are more friendly. It's just been a healing space for me, and I've improved so much. And I'm so grateful to God for that, because it has been a nightmare. And thank God for my mentor who has been helping me with so much, and my family who helped me move and just let me, when I have an idea, I was like, I'm going to California. I don't know how long I'll be out there. I think I'm going to move if I need to move. If I'm homeless out here for a few months, it is what it is. And I was bouncing between Airbnbs. But I was like, I need to do what I need to do, because I'm getting worse. In Vegas, I was getting more bed sores. I was not getting better. And sometimes people don't get better. But I had faith, and I knew that I was not getting better because of inadequate treatment. And I was like, if that's low-hanging fruit, but not low-hanging fruit, but like, that's something we can change. And if I can change that and I'm still not getting better, it is what it is. But I had enough mental health and clarity at that time, thank God. Those years I was kind of rotting in Vegas, to get my mental health prepared for this moment. And yeah, I've seen a few gaslighty doctors, but for the most part, people have been incredibly helpful. It's a slow process. I wish I could get up and walk now, but I can't. There's still things I'm working out. There's a bunch of tests I still need to do. I still have massive PEM, but things are a lot better. Things are so much better than they were. I have dysautonomia, POTS, orthostatic intolerance, Hashimoto's, which got diagnosed in Vegas. I have mast cell disorder, likely exercise-induced anaphylaxis, myalgic encephalomyelitis, anemia thalassemia minor, small fiber neuropathy. Still trying to find out if there's autoimmune stuff. I have to do some more tests. I have, my DEXA scan came back pretty bad, so I have osteopenia and gastroparesis. I have inflammation of my esophagus, so we're trying to figure that out. I have laryngeal spasms and muscle dysphonia. So there's a bunch of things I have that, like, not even trying to be like an attention seeker, whatever the heck y'all think, but having this clarity around stuff makes me a more informed person. So I can know what to do, my boundaries, what not to do, what medicines to take. You know, I'm just more informed. That's all people need. We need more information, more avenues for treatment, things like that. And yeah, guys, I don't know. It's just been a journey. There's so much more to say, but I wanted to give an introduction about myself, a little bit about my journey. And yeah, there's so much more to unpack and discuss. If you guys are interested in learning more, I'm totally open to that. Let me know. But I hope this was helpful in you learning about me. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to be alive and to be here and to be in a mentally much better space and just trying my best every day. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. And I thank God for you being here. And yeah, let me know what else you guys want to know or learn about. And yeah, thank you for visiting my page. Bye now.